I want to talk about something else because I think this matters. Biden slashes stimulus checks for Americans making more than $80,000. President bows to pressure from moderate Democrats and will hand out fewer direct payments than under Trump. Fewer than under Trump.
Which moderate Democrats are this?
But can I just talk about how brutal it must be to have voted for Joe Biden, thinking the Democrats were going to get you this check, and now you're being told by the news, actually Trump was trying to get you more? That is got to be like a kick in the balls.
You know those tweets where people are like, you sure are like, spending a lot of money when you owe me money, right? It's like these tweets is like, you sure are, vaporizing Syrians when you owe me a lot of money.
Biden's sure got a lot of money for somebody who owes me $2,000.
Exactly.
Sure got a lot of money for missiles.
Yeah,
it's like that.
How insane is it? We're the only country in the world where they force everybody out of their jobs and stay home and then don't give them any money to make up for it.
Look at I pulled the meme up.
What insanity is this?
I pulled this meme up.
Tim's finest meme.
co-opted.
It's not. I didn't make it. I just saw people sharing it and I reposted it. I don't know who made it.
It's yours now.
It is the hand pushing one of the two buttons. Vaporizing Syrians is red and $2,000 checks is blue. And then it's Dr. Robotnik, Jim Carrey going and pressing the red button. Joe Biden, all the Democrats said, vote for the Democrats, $2,000 check. Donald Trump said, $2,000 check. Mitch McConnell was like, well, slow down there, Trump. So the Republicans said no. The Democrats said yes. And everyone said, I'll vote for the Democrats. And then the Democrats, it's wonderful. It's like they all voted to give the one ring to Joe Biden. And they followed him into the fires, of Mount Doom. And then they're like, cast the $2,000 checks into the mailbox. And then Biden turns around and goes, no. And then walks out with the money and then hands them to a military industrial complex guy and then presses a button and fires missiles.
And kills kids or whatever.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I think what you said earlier about us being co-opted, our government being basically occupied, is extremely astute. Like after Woodrow Wilson signed the Federal Reserve Act and basically sold us out to this power. And then after World War II, when they made the liberal economic order and established these military bases all over the world, it's like a parasite in the brain of our country. It's crazy.
Slow down there, Ron Paul.
I love Ron Paul. Ron, this is for you.
That's right.
So for Christmas, Luke put Ron Paul on top of the tree because he's both a star and an angel. And now the picture is just like on the window. Ron Paul's an amazing guy. And I always tell people that the reason. Have you seen that video that's going viral from 1988?
Yes, of course. Where him on Maury?
No. I don't know who it is.
It was just one of those shock jock hosts from that time period.
It was so good. Ron Paul is a legend.
He was amazing.
He's a living legend.
And then he's like, yeah, and by the way, you fatty, you should lose some weight too.
No, he was like, the government can't make you a good person. Right. Why don't they put you on a diet? You're a little overweight. And the guy's like, oh, how dare you? It's a good point.
It's like, I'm a doctor.
He's a doctor.
And he was probably right.
Yeah. The government can't make you be a good person.
So I'm thinking about this parasite in the brain of our country and how you remove a parasite without it killing the host. Because this parasite
drink this blue goo, like this blue.
Right.
Liquid.
You can't yank it out because it will kill the host. You can try and kill it, but if it knows you're trying to kill it, it will kill the host, likely.
Not
you need to subvert it.
You need to massage the affected area until it starts wiggling its way out, and then you get the forceps and you slowly pull very, very slowly. Otherwise, it could rip and then retreat back in, and then a whole bunch of
So you make the
problems.
host less enticing to the parasite.
So we have to poison pill ourselves.
Or, well...
No, there's no real analogy for that. I think,
you create a system that's not conducive to the parasite.
Oh.
I don't think that's a good analogy because it's one planet. It would be like if there was one host and literally no other hosts.
I think the U.S. is the host, the U.S. government.
I think the whole planet is basically got a bunch of powerful interests that collude with each other for a variety of reasons.
You're right. The British government, too.
Yeah, it's not like, it's funny how people are like, you're a conspiracy theorist. It's not a conspiracy to think there's international businesses that do deals with each other. It happens every single day.
Yeah.
Right. And so you've got Trump being like, he comes out into by the White House with a helicopter or whatever, and the press asks him, like, what's going on? He goes, we're going to be selling a ton of weapons to Saudi Arabia. It's great. We're going to make tons of money. It's great for the economy. And it's like, it's right there in your face. He's saying it. I love that, by the way. It was one of the greatest moments of Trump's presidency. Yeah. Watching all the anti-war left just go like, he just said it.
He said all the quiet parts out loud. That was why people hated him.
My favorite tweet ever was this journalist who's like, I have been working on this story for a year. All year, and he just says it. He just says it.
He just tweeted it out.
That was Trump.
He just tweeted it out. That was huge. That was right around the same time as Let's Do a Little Game Theory.
Oh man, So I do think, think about this. When we got off the gold standard, it's really amazing. Once the banking institutions, I think it's silly to say the banks are in charge or the Fed. There's clearly just people in power and wealthy interests who just use these machines in these systems to maintain control.
Yeah, the Bank for International Settlements.
It's
like the mother brain.
You know,
The BIS.
the liberal economic order, you called it?
Yeah, they established it in like 1946, I think, right after World War II, to make sure that there was no World War III.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're going to use the British and the American governments to establish military dominance on the planet.
Isn't it a good thing to prevent World War III?
According to Kissinger, yes. And so we're just going to do limited wars. We'll avoid a hot total war. But you can see that I think the time for limited war is over. That it served its purpose. We did avert World War III.
Wait, are you advocating now for total war?
No, I'm advocating for no war. I don't think we need war anymore. I mean, we're getting to a place where we don't.
I talk about it all the time. Violence doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
You become the villain instantly when you engage in that stuff.
We're getting there. We're molecularly printing, water and food. We'll be able to do that pretty soon. So we're very close.
We just got to build them replicators, and that's it. But I will say too,
And that's it.
We're almost there.
QED.
Post scarcity, bro.
Yeah.
Post scarcity. People are
close.
printing food.
We already live in an abundant world. Just look
Exactly.
at all of the fat people in America.
Yep.
We live in a world of abundance.
Bro,
and we're
bro.
designed to live in a world of scarcity. This
Bro.
is the one thing I try to hammer into my kids' brains constantly.
Bro,
What?
not just fat people, fat homeless people.
Right.
We have people who are homeless and morbidly
Still
obese.
managed to be fat.
That's I don't know if that's a testament to capitalism or like a detriment, or a
It's a prime example of the way our society has evolved faster than our physical being, right? We are creatures of worlds of scarcity.
Yep.
Now living in a world of abundance, and we just don't know how to operate.
Right.
We don't know how to operate. Ironically, think about this: a man with chiseled 8-pack.
Like you.
Yeah, not right now, but by summertime, I promise.
get that beach bod.
That's a sign of status to appear as though you're emaciated.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what is that?
Yes.
Has the world turned
But
upside down on its head?
these guys who do the photo shoots of the super muscles and everything, they dehydrate themselves.
Oh yeah, of course.
You have to drop a lot of the water so that the muscles come through the skin better.
Yeah, and
there was
top-down lighting is always really
Seems
good.
healthy.
too.
Yeah.
I think I was reading something from Jason Momoa, who was Aquaman, and he posted a picture. Something happened where like he was at the beach and they posted a photo saying he's really let himself go, and he literally didn't. He was still doing the training program. He was just like, it's crazy that you think just like having skin and looking this way, having like hydrated skin, you think is letting yourself go because they're so used to these movies where they're like emaciated.
Let me just say one thing. If you've ever seen Brad Pitt in Fight Club, Thor with his shirt off for a second, or the Wolverine or whatever, just know that those guys, they train like 6 months for that one day, for that one shot where they have their shirt off, and that is not real, and that is not sustained. And that's with guys that are on steroids, with personal trainers and personal chefs. And they can only maintain that for just a few days for that photo shoot.
And I think
it's totally unrealistic.
I think Hemsworth, who plays Thor, said he was eating like several pounds of fish and chicken every day because you need that much protein to maintain the mass.
Yeah.
And then they do they film the movie over the month, and then he goes to a lighter, training thing where he's not breaking himself.
Back to a normal guy.
Gerard Butler, his training for 300, he played Leonidas, is amazing. I think there's a YouTube short 10-minute video about it. It's really powerful.
Nevertheless, it is interesting how we need to adapt to a world of abundance when we're accustomed to a world of scarcity.
Yeah, good point. So we're brainwashed. We basically to think that there's not enough.
Not brainwashed. Through all time and history, there has not been enough.
And now you can order any vegetable, any fruit, more or less, on the internet.
I mean, that's a problem.
It seems like it has become a problem.
It is a problem. It's a problem that you can order strawberries in winter because they got to grow them in like Mexico and then put them on a freight and then
It's
ship
not
it all the way
green,
out.
yeah.
It's a huge waste of energy for a luxury. It's a luxury. I get it. It's great. But in that capacity, I think people should get back to like, we need to get back. People should put chickens on the, like, we got to get chickens, man.
You buying chickens, bro?
I'm
I
buying
saw
chickens.
a tweet.
Yeah,
I'm all about it. Let's get some chickens.
We got so this is my shout out to all the people who are upset about Joe Biden and the stimulus check and everything. That's like what we're starting the segment off with. You can get mad the government's not going to give you that money, but what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? You're going to sit there and be like, I'm mad. All right, here's a solution. You got to be self-sustainable.
I don't want a solution.
And that's fine. You can be mad if you want, but then you're going to be hungry and mad.
You could start an Instagram account, buy baseball gloves and resell them at retail.
Yeah, or shoes.
They work.
Or, you know what I see signs for all over the place is people have chickens and they sell the eggs.
Yeah.
They collect them all, and then after a certain amount of time, they eat them if they're too old. But then the fresher ones they always have available for sale.
300 eggs per year per hen. Get on it.
300 eggs.
Yeah, per year per hen.
If you do it right, though.
I learned that by watching Homestead Rescue, one of my favorite shows on television.
Oh, cool.
But so this is an important point, though. We were talking the other day with Ryan Long about whether or not this was one of the Timcast member segments, whether or not society will irreparably change completely when they release the lockdown finally. How different will everything be? And I was like, I think it'll be different forever. I think it's done. It's different. New normal is here. The habits you had are gone. Regular people, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but like, I'm thinking about this summer and lockdowns being released, and all I can think about is getting my ass back down to Miami and going to a pool party and drinking and dancing to house music and being around beautiful people. And that's exactly what I did 2 years ago.
I didn't say that wouldn't happen.
I know, but like those
saying,
are my normal habits.
Right. So people who used to go to the movies and haven't gone to the movies in over a year might go to a movie, but now HBO Max is publishing movies at the exact same time.
Are they really?
Yep. So when the movie comes out now, it's on streaming services already. And guess what? Friends have already formed movie night groups where they're like, hey, it's Friday, let's do movie night. Now a movie comes out and they're like, oh, we can go see movie night. Let's do movie night. Let's watch the new movie. They don't go to the theater anymore. Habits are being changed completely. So here's what I say. You can't count on the government, man. You can cross your fingers and hope it'll be there for you, but that's not a guarantee. What people don't seem to understand on the left, I don't care if you call it government. I don't care if you call it a nonprofit. I don't care if you call it a corporation. It is an organization. That's it. And really, really big ones tend to suck. Comcast, everybody complains about Comcast.
True.
It's a monopoly in my area. They don't answer their phones. Great. So why do you think the government being in control of something is going to change that? It's the same thing. What's the difference? Let me ask you this question. You know what the only real difference, in my opinion, between, let's say you live in an area where you have Comcast and then you have, government, provided service of some sort. Like you can only get your electricity or waste management is a government program. What's the difference? You pay a subscription fee, you get the service. You can complain. Here's the thing about government I like better. You have rights. If you have a problem with government, you can escalate it to the authorities. Mm-hmm. These private corporations like Facebook or Comcast can do whatever. What are you going to do? I'm suing them because they won't give me internet. You can try. Maybe there's a reason they might give you internet, or they'll just be like, sorry, too bad, go home.
And you can vote the government people out of power if they do a poor job. So there's that incentive.
So what I'm saying is I think a monopoly, a private monopoly is worse than a public monopoly. But you need to understand the difference is very, very slim. If you say the government should run this entire system right here, you're basically saying, I want a massive I want Comcast taking care of my healthcare. I don't know about all that. But I'm actually in favor of a base level coverage with private hospitals and private insurance. So there's still some kind of like universal care. I've often talked about this. Maybe what we really need is that the government acts as a referee or provides vouchers, and that's it. There's no government run healthcare. There's no government run schools. It's vouchers. We all pay into taxes. Then the government says we make sure people don't go below a certain threshold. People who are wealthier are going to naturally pay more because 10% of a million is way more than 10% of 100. And that means poor people will get access by voucher to these programs.
But does that mean that taxpayers have to pay for the vouchers? And
yes.
So that it's still lining the pockets of these exorbitant prices of these private medical industry.
But now you've got competition. You simplify the system. I'm not saying it's a perfect idea. I'm saying it might be a way. It might be a good solution, right? Because we've talked to who's the I'm forgetting the guy's name. The DeAngelis, Corey DeAngelis.
Oh, yeah,
Corey, a private school choice guy. Yeah, he's a great guy.
But we've also talked about police choice, fire department choice,
every kind of
hospital choice. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. What if you got vouchers for specific services and then you had to choose who delivered those services? You'd have market competition with a public guarantee.
Or we could just stop taxing everybody so much, let you have your money, and then go make your own decision.
Right. The problem with that is there are people who I don't like the idea. Look, I'm a bit lefty in that regard. I don't like the idea that somebody works at McDonald's full time, 80 hours a week, maybe double time, and they can't go to the doctor. So what happens is then you have extremely wealthy people. You want to argue flat tax or progressive tax? Fine. The simple answer is if some dude makes $1 million and pays 10%, he's paying more than someone who makes $1,000 and is paying 10%. He's paying more into taxes. So that will help offset the costs, only a little bit, to be completely honest. And I am a fan of the progressive tax. And I think then we have a base level so people aren't, going medically bankrupt.
Charter schools is something I know a lot about. I spent 10 years working in charter schools. I was an executive director of multiple different charter schools. I was a top regulator at one of the most advanced charter school regulators in the country. I know school choice. It is a radical right-wing public policy experiment because it is. It's about solving what was a public issue with private entities. Right. So charter schools are privately owned, publicly funded. And the same concept could apply to everything like you just said, police, fire, medical. And what we've seen with charter schools is that they deliver per dollar better results, right? On a per dollar basis. And what we've seen in Washington, D.C. is that about half of the students in D.C. go to charter schools. And what happened at the beginning is charter schools at first outperformed. But now that it's actually half and half, they're actually performing relatively the same, right? So that means that they're delivering the same product, but they do it with far less money.
Yeah.
They do it with far less money. They're far more nimble. They can be shut down if they're terrible schools and they don't meet standards. It's a really good system. And the irony for me in working in that environment is that truly a radical right-wing policy experiment implemented in D.C. by Georgia senators in the 90s, right? Republicans. Completely staffed by radical left-wing social justice warriors that have no idea that they're participating in the deconstruction of the federal government that they so love and hold dear. But I would love to see this thing, see it expanded. But what happens though, same arguments as they make about charter schools. It's like, well, what happens when, the rich people get all the good cops and the poor people get all the bad cops, or you rich people get all the good fire?
The vouchers are equal, bro.
The vouchers are equal.
Yeah. So when it comes to certain services, everybody has the same vouchers.
I see. Oh, I see. You're just like, I get fire service from this company. I can just choose to go to this company or that company.
But they're local. That's the problem is like if everybody in one area wants the good cops and they pay their vouchers to it, and then all these people in different area also want the good cops and pay their vouchers.
So then population density will lead to better, wealthier
So
systems.
then a new police department will open up to serve that demand.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yep. It's an interesting idea. I'd like to see it explored, a little bit better. I don't know.
Ain't gonna happen in this administration,
Well,
my friend. They hate school choice more than they hate, Syrians and dropping bombs on their head.
They like the teachers' vote. They want those votes.
Yep.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.